Hi, it's Sandy Parker and welcome to Crafting for Almost Everyone. Today I'm going to show you how to fix a mistake if you use the embossing folder technique I showed you in the last video, so I hope you'll stay tuned for that. So I mentioned in the beginning that I'm going to show you what to do when you make a mistake. Here's the mistake you make. You put the paper in your embossing folder backwards. I use the Couture Creations Magical, and when I put it in and ran my ink over it, I ran my ink over the wrong side, so it made it backwards. So I decided there's no point in throwing this away. We'll just use it for a single color embossing and not the double, like all the others were doubles. And I thought it would make sense if we use colors that were very neutral. So I'm going to be using this charcoal from Hero Arts, and I'm just going to rub it gently over the top. I know that you don't think of grays when you think of leaves, but I think that this is going to work out really well in the end. I'm hoping anyway, and I'm trying to just make sure that I'm doing this evenly and that I'm not pressing too hard in one area. And as you can see, I already did this one side too much. I mean, I pushed so it wasn't even on one side. These things happen. We'll work around that. We'll figure out something to do to make that work. If I figure out an idea to do something with the actual mistaken cardstock, I should be able to figure out how to fix this, right? Hopefully. Good enough. Now I'm going to use that center section where I have the boo-boo. I'll use that for my sentiment. If my sentiment is wide enough, I can cover up that piece with it. And if it's not, then maybe we'll put a ribbon or something else over there. I'm going to let this dry for a second. The splotchiness should even out in the time that we take to do the next section. And our card base is going to be this gray color. This is one of the Gina K, I think it's called Gina K Neutrals. I liked it. And then I thought I would layer a black layer on top of it so that it's, so that these kind of mute out. But I think I'm going to cut a little bit off of this panel that we just did. So let me get my guillotine. If you have one of these guillotine paper trimmers, the one like when you were a kid in school and they use them to chop off the top of them, if you have one of these, I think they work a lot better for things like fixing an embossing folder that you've just worked with and you need to cut down a little bit. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to try and cut off a little bit of the problem areas on it. And as far as the grays go that we need to work on, what we'll do with those is I'm going to take my water brush. So we're going to take our water brush and I'm going to just smear it around on my ink pad. Hopefully you can see that, but let me put it in the spot where I know you can. I'm just going to get my water brush really inky, and then I'm going to take it and apply the ink to the spots that didn't seem as inky as I wanted them to, or as gray as I wanted them to. We're just going to fill in the spots. Now, I don't think this technique has to be particularly perfect, when you're doing the embossing folders. I like the distressed look in the background, but if you don't like the distressed look, then I would recommend that you do the two-color system every time, because you have better chance of hiding any mistakes when you do that. And use your lighter color for your first color and your darker color for the outside color, because it works better that way, I think. Less chance for big mistakes. So now we have to decide, here's my sentiment, and it came, whoops, get that out of the way because you know I'm going to make a mess with that. It came from this Stampin' Up set called Another Thank You, and I just took the thanks so much I thought I'd just put it right there to cover up some of the, oh, it's upside down. That would have been swell if I'd have done that. I thought I would do it like that, and so I want to go around the edges of it, I think, with the gray so it matches our background. And I do have some strips of black that I'm going to cover more of our background with. I cut 1/4 inch pieces from our from some black cardstock, and they're 1/4 inch high, and they're the length of our card. I'm going to let that sit so it dries while we're putting other things together. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is put some adhesive on this and put it on our black background like that. Yeah, I'm getting out the big ATG again. I'm so good with it. Every once in a while I actually think I can use this, and then I realize I'm not even close to the edge with it, like that time. I just wish I could hit it in the right spot. I think I've already told you guys this, but if you're left-handed, you can't see where the ink is, or the tape is coming, gonna land, and that makes it a little frustrating because you can't see it. And I'm putting a lot of tape on it because when you have an embossed background like this, there's so many highs and lows that you want to make sure that the tape is going to hit something on here. At least that's my thought. Let's see, I want to go over that way a little bit more. That's another thing that those guillotine trimmers are good for, is if you don't have something straight, you can, you know, cut it and make it straight. So this is the same paper as my background is. I put some tear tape on the back of it already. Now the objective is to put this in the spot that is something we don't like. I think it's right there. And then I have these 2 rows of black cardstock that I thought would really offset it. I have 2 of them. So I'm going to get a pair of scissors and mark how long it is. Here's a little tip for you. If you have your water brush handy and you want to know how long a piece of paper is, you can use your water brush so that you know exactly where your mark should be. Okay, I think I want to put a piece of fun foam behind this background so that it is like dimensionally high on this piece. And I think I'm going to do that. Flip that over. So let me grab the fun foam and I'll be right back. In case you ever wanted to know how to trim fun foam, in an easy way to do it is to, I'll show you, hopefully you can see this. You want to move it up your paper. See this? You want to move it up there about that far, and then you want to move it away from the edge about that far, and you want to kind of try and hold it straight, and then I'm going to flip it over like this, and you're going to cut it even with the edge now, because this is going to make it so that it's the right size. I'm going to just trim that all the way to the top. I'm going to turn it this way. Then it should be the right size for the back of our card. I'll show you as soon as we're done here. See, when you turn it over, now it fits evenly. So we're going to put our card together now, and I'm putting it on an A2 size card, which is 5.5 inches up and down and 4.25 inches across. So it'd be 8.5 inches folded in half. So that's our card, and I already put tear tape on the back of this. And I'm going to center it up, and hopefully, I got to get that black piece off my hand. Hopefully we'll be able to get this, I'm going to turn it sideways. Hopefully we'll be able to get this lined up and on here straight, if it's at all possible. And I have a very, very small border on this, so if I can move it up a little bit. Yeah, I know, that was horrible, but just ignore it, because I need to move it up a little bit. I'm going to move it in and up just a teeny tiny bit. Hopefully that's better. That's better. Make sure it's well adhered. And then I have these little strips that I talked about, and I'm going to lay them down. I put tear tape on the back of them as well. Piece of hair there. Whoops. And move it over a little bit. And then a little bit higher, I think. How's that look? And then I have a couple more pieces. I could do 4 if I wanted to. I put these through my Xyron, and I showed you how to use a Xyron in the last video. It's a very inexpensive tool, but it works really great to make stickers. So if you're a mother and you want to make some fun stickers with your kids, this will do it. You just, here it is, you just put it in, put things in the top, pull them out the bottom, and you've got yourself a sticker. Let's see how this looks with a second row. I think that looks, I kind of like it with more stripes. We're going with it. And they cover up our boo-boos too, which is always a good thing. It's too far away. That far. That looks about right. And I do need to trim off the ends of those ones. I forgot that I had them a little bit longer, so we'll just kind of hopefully get it laid down straight. These are my cutter bee scissors that are supposed to work really good for sticky, and I have to be honest, I don't think they're great for sticky things. Okay, so here's the back of our card. I'm going to put my Made For You by Sandy Parker on the back, and then on my envelope I'm going to use some peg stamps. People have been asking me about peg stamps lately, and if you go to www.pegstamps.com, that's where you'll find them, and you can buy them individually. A lot of people think you have to buy them in sets, but you don't have to. You can buy them individually, so if you're thinking about maybe I want them, maybe I don't, the best way to figure that out is to go on their site and check them out. They have a lot of great prices on theirs, and I really like them. And Lindsay the Frugal Crafter almost always has a deal, like a coupon code. I stamped my envelope, and of course my camera cut out, so anyway, I stamped it with this. It's called Grass Sprigs, and I really love it. I did it with the same gray ink, and then I used Autumn, this is from the Autumn Glory set, this little leafy design. You can buy those separately, you don't have to buy the whole set, but that's where mine came from. And then I stamped it on the front, the sprig in the center, and then the 2 swirls beside it. So here is our card. I hope that you enjoyed this, that you'll give it a thumbs up and click that subscribe button at the bottom of the video. And thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.